On a crisp autumn afternoon in 2024, I was out mowing my lawn on my modest farm just outside Willow Creek, Tennessee, savoring the simple joy of tending to my own land. I bought this place 6 months ago, craving solitude after a messy divorce, and it was perfect 5 acres of freedom, no neighbors breathing down my neck, and, most importantly, no homeowners association, HOA, to dictate my every move. The county records confirmed this property was outside any HOA jurisdiction, a fact I triple-checked before signing the deed. With classic rock blaring through my earbuds, I was in my element, the smell of fresh-cut grass filling the air. But then, a sleek black Lexus SUV roared across my field, kicking up dust like it was auditioning for a car chase movie. Out stepped a woman who could only be described as the queen of entitlement mid-50s, decked out in a crisp blazer with Crestwood HOA president embroidered in silver, her blonde hair sculpted like she'd just left a high-end salon. This was Margaret Voss, and she was about to turn my quiet life upside down. "Stop mowing," she bellowed, storming toward me like I'd just set her prized roses on fire. I yanked off my earbuds, bewildered. "Excuse me," I said, shutting off the mower. "You can't mow without Crestwood HOA approval," she snapped, her manicured finger jabbing the air. I blinked, trying to process this. "Ma'am, this farm isn't part of any HOA." I checked the records. Her eyes narrowed, and she whipped out a laminated map from her designer purse, thrusting it in my face. "This is the official Crestwood boundary map, and your property is clearly within our zone." The map did show my farm inside the HOA, but the lines looked suspiciously thick, like someone had gone over them with a Sharpie. I pointed this out, but Margaret snatched the map back, her face reddening. "The county records are outdated. This is the current map, approved by our board." I tried to stay calm. "Look, I just want to mow my lawn." But Margaret wasn't hearing it. "It's Mrs. Voss," she hissed, already dialing her phone. At 3:12 p.m., she made the first of what would become 8 911 calls in 2 weeks. "I need police at 472 Maple Hollow Lane," she told the dispatcher, glaring at me like I was a fugitive. "There's a man violating noise ordinances during quiet hours." Officer Daniel Harper arrived, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "It's Saturday afternoon," he said, exasperated. "There's no noise ordinance for mowing right now." Margaret waved her fake map like it was a royal decree, but Harper checked my deed, confirmed my property was HOA-free, and warned her about false reports. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. By Monday, Margaret was back, calling the cops again at 7:45 a.m., claiming my mowing was disrupting community aesthetics. Tuesday evening, she reported debris from my yard blowing onto HOA land-free blades of grass she'd spotted with a magnifying glass. By Friday, she was parked in my property line, snapping photos with a telephoto lens like she was on a CIA stakeout. She even called my boss at the auto shop, claiming I was unstable and harassing HOA members. Then, on Sunday, I found a stack of official-looking papers taped to my door, demanding $600 in monthly HOA fees and $2,500 in back dues for services I'd never agreed to. I started recording every interaction, sensing this was no ordinary neighbor dispute. Margaret's obsession with my farm wasn't about grass, it was about something far darker. That night, I examined her map under a lamp and felt a chill. The boundary lines were clearly altered, the ink bleeding in a way that screamed forgery. Why would she fake a map just to harass me? I dug into Crestwood's history and found a disturbing pattern. 3 years ago, the HOA faced a mysterious budget shortfall, forcing residents to pay emergency assessments. Families who questioned the finances, like the Carters, who'd owned my land before me, suddenly faced relentless violations and sold their homes at a loss. Neighbors whispered about Margaret's iron grip on the HOA's books, how she handled all the money and crushed anyone who asked for receipts. The Carter social media hinted at bullying. Some people use power to silence the truth. We had to walk away. Fed up, I decided to build a fence to keep Margaret out for good. That weekend, I was digging post holes in the wooded strip between my farm and the HOA when my shovel hit something hard. I thought it was a rock, But as I cleared the dirt, I uncovered a rusted metal box about the size of a briefcase. My pulse raced as I pried it open. Inside, wrapped in plastic, were financial documents, bank statements, receipts, and check stubs, all tied to Margaret Voss. They showed payments from the Crestwood HOA to Voss Consulting for non-existent services. $15,000 for roof maintenance on houses with no new roofs. $10,000 for landscaping audits that never happened. $20,000 for legal fees with no record of lawsuits. The total? Over $90,000 in embezzled funds, buried here when this land belonged to the Carters. When they sold under Margaret's pressure and I bought the expanded property, her secret ended up in my backyard. Then I heard branches snapping. Margaret burst through the woods, her pristine blazer torn, her face wild. "What are you doing?" she screamed. I stood, holding the box, digging fence posts on my land. When she saw the documents, her face went pale. "Those aren't yours," she shrieked, lunging for the box. I stepped back. "These show you stealing $90,000 from your neighbors." Her eyes darted, panic setting in. "You don't understand," she stammered. "I was protecting community funds. Leadership requires tough choices." Then she made her fatal mistake. "I'll give you $25,000 to forget this. Cash tonight." I stare, stunned. "This is why you've been harassing me. You needed to get this box back." Her voice turned cold. "I have connections, Tom. I can ruin your job, your reputation." But when I mentioned the Carters, her facade cracked. $50,000, she blurted. "Take it and leave like they did." Her desperation confirmed everything. She'd driven families out to hide her crimes. That night, I spread the documents across my kitchen table, piecing together a fraud that went beyond the box. Margaret had likely stolen over $200,000, extorting families to cover her thefts. I contacted Eric Carter, the former owner, who met me at a diner far from Willow Creek. "She hit us with $20,000 in fake fees," he said, his voice heavy. "When we asked for proof, she made our lives hell. Violations, rumors 6 a.m. Inspections. We sold at a $60,000 loss to escape." Other families told similar stories. The Garcias billed $15,000 for a pool violation. The Wilsons charged $25,000 for legal compliance after questioning dues. Margaret's playbook was clear: steal, extort, harass, and force out anyone who resisted. When word spread that I was investigating, Margaret went nuclear. She called my boss, claiming I'd threatened her. She filed fake code violations against my farm. She spread rumors I was a dangerous drifter. Her boldest move? A police report accusing me of stealing HOA documents and blackmailing her. Officer Harper returned, looking exhausted. "She says you broke into their storage and stole records." I led him to the woods, showing the hole on my property. "I found this buried here 2 feet down." Margaret, trailing us, stammered about secure storage, but Harper wasn't buying it. I played my recording of her offering bribes: $25,000, then $50,000, then $100,000. Her voice echoed. "Why couldn't you leave like the others?" Harper's face hardened. "Ma'am, you're offering him money, not the other way around." Margaret's meltdown was epic. "I built this community," she screamed, as Harper cuffed her. "I deserve that money." The investigation blew up, making headlines across Tennessee. Detectives found Margaret had embezzled $150,000 and extorted $100,000 from families. Her home office held dossiers on residents' private details she used to silence them. The HOA held an emergency meeting, ousting Margaret and launching an audit. New rules mandated transparency, public financial reports, recorded meetings, and multi-board approval for big expenses. The Carters moved back, Eric becoming treasurer to ensure accountability. I joined the oversight committee, learning that silence enables bullies. At Margaret's trial, her refusal to plead guilty backfired. Prosecutor Emily Chun presented damning evidence: bank records, fake invoices, and testimony from 10 families. Margaret's defense that she deserved the money for her unappreciated work only enraged the jury. Judge Robert Klein sentenced her to 5 years in prison, $400,000 in restitution, and a lifetime ban from HOA rolls. Willow Creek rebuilt, stronger and more united, with laws now requiring HOA audit statewide. My farm was peaceful again, my fence complete, my garden thriving where Margaret's secrets once hid. What would you do if you uncovered a neighbor's crime? Would you risk everything to expose them, or stay quiet to avoid trouble? Should HOAs have more oversight, or is this just one bad apple? Comment below, like, and subscribe for more wild stories.